Man, we're back at the Opinions Podcast, day two of episode with Coach and Proctor. Yesterday we are having a lot of technical difficulties. Hopefully we'll get through this episode today. Coach, thank you for taking our time again in your busy schedule this week to try to recap this episode. So how you feeling this morning, man?
I feel great, man. I felt bad about yesterday, man. So I was like, man, let me get in the office, man. Let me get this high level internet they got here at Grambling State, man. Get this connection going and tap in with my people.
For
Yeah.
sure.
It might have been. I'm gonna let you take all the blame so I can look good, but it might have been a combination of both of our internet. I think I probably just got mine under control a little quicker than you did or whatever. Uh, but man, not to say to waste too much time. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Lozy, you want to start off with first question today, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Me and Coach, we was having a conversation off camera. I wanted to talk about it on camera. Coach, can you explain your experience back, when you was coming up in the basketball world back in 2000, 2001 in Houston, Texas, and then your transition to where you went and, the levels of, the difference in the levels between now and then, if
Yeah.
you don't mind.
No doubt. I and it was, it was a really interesting kind of process that I went through. I was an okay high school player. Like I was all right. I went to three different high schools. Two, I went to Anna Consolidated my freshman and junior year in College Station. My sophomore year, I went to Eisenhower on the north side. Then I graduated from high school in Southern California at Eisenhower High School out there. And so I kind of was able to see a bunch of different kind of levels of the game. Um, and like I said, I was an okay player. I wasn't, I wasn't anything special. I could shoot the ball a little bit. I could do a little bit of everything. But in when I was in College Station, we ran flex motion offense. So everybody is posting, everybody's post entry, everybody is kind of at different spots on the floor. When I got to Eisenhower in Houston, that was the first time. That was like my first real exposure to like high level basketball, like high level players. Marcus Sloan, Floyd McLean. I mean, just really good players. And so I had to, my thing was just I played as hard as I could, and I could make a shot. And so that was kind of what I was exposed to. I really, my exposure to summer ball was really just playing with my high school team in the summer. Playing at the Gasso, playing in spring leagues with my high school team, and then I would see Sloan or my guy Marcus Watkins. Like I'd see them going all over the country. I was like, damn, I wish I was good enough to do that, but I didn't know how. I didn't know how to work.
Yeah.
Really, I didn't know really what to do aside from just play hard. You know, my senior year of high school, I moved out to Southern California, Rialto, California, and the team that I was on. First of all, let me say it was one of the better experiences that I had because there were some things that I'd never really been exposed to. My coach at the time, Steve Johnson, when I first walked into his office, he had a picture of him and Bobby Knight hugged up, smiling. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know about, I don't know
Yeah.
about this."
Right,
Uh,
right.
but he was the first person. I never forget it, and I tell this story all the time. We were shooting free throws, and I missed a free throw during the scrimmage, and he was saying like he jumped me, like he killed me, and I never had that happen. Like Mr. Free, like I'm playing as hard as I can, I'm doing everything right. Like why is he yelling at me about missing a free throw? And he said something to me. It stuck with me to this day. He said, "Free throws. If you miss a free throw, there's a flaw in your form or in your focus, or both." And I
Or
had
both.
never heard that, um, and it made me lock in even more. And it just kind of taught me about, you just not out here playing, like, you ain't just hooping. Like you really, you got to get to it. And so that summer I was actually, it was the first time I really ever like worked on my game, like really really worked on my game. Went to the gym and had, workouts. My guy, Alex Acker, his older brother Chris Acker, he's the head coach at Long Beach State now. um, he had us in the gym. Like I never worked out. If I'm in the gym, if it's not 5-on-5 or 4-on-4, I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I want to hoop. I
yeah,
want to play. And it was just us three in the gym with a ladder, some weight vests, and heavy balls, and we in there for hours. I had never been exposed to that, and so it just, if I don't go to Southern California, um, I don't have an opportunity to play college basketball and kind of be exposed to what it really took to see like pros. My senior year, Alex was drafted by the Pistons a few years later. Sean Marshall, Johnny Dukes, like we had guys who played like high level ball and were pros for a long, long time, making a lot of money. So I had never been exposed to anything like that at that level. So that was a great experience for me. And there's in Texas, Sloan will go away. I see Floyd go away. Obviously, guys like you, Marcus, like I see these guys go away. And they're going to these tournaments. They're going to ABCD. You guys are going to these different tournaments around the country, but it wasn't a whole bunch of teams like that in Texas. It was two, three, four, maybe. And so to get out to California and to kind of be immersed in all of that at that time, the thought process was that, you know, even though everybody knew Texas had players, if you were a basketball guy, it was always California and the East Coast, right? California,
right.
New York, California, DC, California, Chicago, in the Midwest, even Florida to a certain extent, right? So, to see how it's shifted now to where every college coach in the country wants to get into Texas. They want a Texas guy. They want a guy with Texas relationships. It's completely flipped, which is a great thing because, it's finally a light, that's really, really shown on the state. But also I think it leads, it can be a little bit misleading for a lot of people for a lot of young players that are trying to really get to it, because if you think about the number of really, really good players in the state, that means that the chances for you in the state to be seen and to be noticed kind of dwindle if you're not really getting to it. And so, there are a number of teams. There obviously you don't have to be a shoe team in order to be seen and be noticed anymore. Bobby's an attestament to that and how he's grown the Raptors.
Absolutely.
But the culture is different. The culture has changed, and it there's more opportunity, but there's also a lot of misleading opportunities. I think for young people that kind of don't really know the game, and parents and how things work.
Let me ask you this, Coach. Like you said, you don't really have to be a shoe team to be seen to get recruited. Let's just talk about maybe Texas, Grambling State, and maybe Texas State if you want to. If not, you can leave that out. But the live period just ended a few weeks ago. So for college coaches and like yourself, you guys already have a list of kids that you're going to go watch. You're not just going, hey, I'm gonna go to this gym, I'm gonna go to that circuit, and I'm gonna just hope to find somebody. Like, what's the norm? I know it's different for all coaches, but just on general, on average, what's the average blueprint for a Division One college coach preparing for the live period?
The live period is, obviously it's an opportunity for us to see high school players, and even with the great thing about the June scholastic period is being able to see them with their teams, right, in kind of a different environment. But I can speak for us. A lot of it is just really about establishing relationships, not only with the players that we know are good and the programs that we know consistently put out Division One caliber players, but just relationships. Period. Like people being able to see us around and see us out and know that they are a priority. Texas is a priority for us. Wherever we are is a priority for us. And so for me being a quote unquote Texas guy, I think it's important for me to continue to maintain the relationships that I have and to establish new ones with people who maybe don't know me. Maybe they've heard something about me or different things about me that I get an opportunity just to kind of in normal conversation, a casual conversation, to kind of be able to put to rest or even enhance if it's something good. I think every university, every college has kind of a different approach to it, but I think the similarities really lie in the fact that the landscape has changed with the portal, and that you have to identify really really good players as early as possible. You have to maintain relationships, and I think the thing that is really commonplace now is that at some point with the portal you may have an opportunity to recruit that kid and recruit that program again. You may not get an opportunity to get them as incoming freshmen in high school, but they may be looking for a place. They may be trying to come back home or get closer to home, or get somewhere where they feel they can get more of an opportunity in a year or two. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just how it's kind of gone. So it's difficult to get kids if you don't have a prior relationship with either them and or their head coach at the high school level, or at the grassroots level, or with their folks or with people that are close to them. So the one thing that really is consistent is that this thing is year round. This does not stop. The way that things are set up, it's there is no I say quote unquote vacation time. Like you're constantly thinking about it. It's constantly going, and the wheels are constantly turning. So getting out to the live period is important, but even more so, just establishing and maintaining those relationships throughout is even more important.
Let me ask you this, Coach. I want to piggyback on that. So, when recruiting, out of a HBCU, how realistically is it for y'all to go to like say for instance like a Nike EYBL or 3SSB? How much do y'all focus on recruiting out of those pools or whatnot?
Shoot, man, we want the best players we could possibly get.
So
Like
y'all often do y'all
oh,
like
we gonna be there.
go
Yeah,
out
we
there?
there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, we were at
Oh,
Nike.
goodness.
We were
Okay.
at Puma. We were at every circuit this year.
Okay.
And I think one of the things that I get a lot, and I understand it, but it's not necessarily something that I look for. I'll get a call or a text or something. Hey, coach, I got a guy that's great for your level. Uh, to be honest, I don't want a guy that's great for my level. I
Right.
want a guy that's
Right.
above my level, right?
Yes.
Now, with that being said, um, I think the casual basketball fan and the person that thinks that the low major level is the level to get in or to be seen initially, they don't understand how good the basketball is at this level. I've been at the
Facts.
high major level. Uh, there were schools at our low major level that we did not want to play because we go in at halftime and we got a 8 to 12 point lead, and it don't feel like 8 to 12. And then you in the
Yeah.
game, and you won by 20, but it was a dogfight, and you basically walk away from that game not feeling like you won. You feeling like, man, we need more to work on. Well, if you're playing a quote unquote lower level team. A lot of these guys, we have a young man on our team. He played at Dayton. We got another man who averaged 20 points a game at Canisius. He's one of the top 15 scorers returning in the country in college basketball. Like, a bucket is a bucket. Experience is experience. And so I think the difference between a lot of people in different levels is really just kind of opportunity. And
Right.
so the great thing about being I growing up in Houston, I was at PV and at TSU. I was at homecoming. I was my best friend went to Prairie View, so I was there, but I didn't go to school there. So this is an opportunity for me to really kind of, my wife went to Tennessee State. She went to HBCU. So this is a real opportunity for me to kind of like immerse myself in it. Uh, but I've been in a number of schools. There's no brand like Grambling State. None. Like I'm in Dallas at McAllister's trying to get something to eat. I'm at four people who are related to Grambling in some way. They either their cousin went there, the nephew went there, the little niece is going there. They went there. They played football or basketball there. This is it took me 20 minutes to walk out of McAllister's. When I'm in the airport, whenever I have on Grambling State, it never fails. It never fails. It's so the brand is comparable to Duke, to Kansas, to Kansas State, to Florida. Like it's comparable. The levels of the league may be different, but the coaching is elite at this level. And so I would challenge people not to get caught up in the quote unquote coach. I got a player who's perfect for you at that level. Like but we got players who've been above our level, and they're here. So if they can't play, it's going to be difficult for you to just say, well, I got a player at your level who can be successful at your level, and then we got 4 or 5 guys who've been exposed to mid plus high major basketball.
That's dope.
Coach, what events outside of basketball with that Grambling culture are you looking forward to this season?
Shoot, man, homecoming. Homecoming. So my daughter, she's 6 years old.
Coach, don't forget about us on homecoming weekend. If it's
Hey, look, I already got in my mind when I got the job. I got the tent already. I kind of already got my little plot of land, like what we going. Don't even worry about that. Don't worry about that.
My boy.
It's homecoming it's football season, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. You know who y'all play?
We play. I think TSU.
Ooh.
Hold on, real quick. I might be.
Jackson.
Grambling.
Don't say TSU, man.
Yeah, we gotta definitely make that happen.
Let's see, we got. Yep, we got TSU.
That's live.
Yeah, that's gonna be live. That's live right there. I know you out here, so I'm not even going. I'm not. You just gotta let me know when. What day you arriving?
Yes, sir. Yes.
But no, I mean the biggest thing. I mean for my wife who went to Tennessee State, like this is the kind of environment that she went to college in, and so this is something I think for her she can kind of like really kind of immerse herself in. My daughter, I was showing her pictures of the cheerleaders, and she's all into that, and she wants to do gymnastics and dance and stuff like that. So she's excited about just my daughter's my twin, so she loves being up here at the gym. She loves being at the office. So I'm excited for myself personally, obviously, but for my family, I'm really excited. My mom grew up in Shreveport. I got a number of family that's out here, an extended family, and then being close to Mississippi. My wife's people are from Mississippi, so it's just a great opportunity. I'm really excited to get around just like the environment of the games. We played when I was at Texas State. We played at TSU, and it was a good environment. But everything that I've been hearing it ain't nothing like HBCU home game during the conference environment. It's
right.
A lot of talking. A lot of energy, a lot of juice. So I'm with all of it. So I'm looking forward to it all.
Yeah, that's live. Yeah.
Now this might be a crazy question, but somebody told me there's no such thing as a crazy question, right? So matter of fact, I won't even make it a question. Coach, how would you respond to this? One of your coaches called, hey, I got a 6'6" guard, kid could play, could shoot it, athletic, both ends of the court, but he's a white guy or Asian.
That don't matter to me. If we got a chance to get him, you know, like if we got a chance to get him, we and he fits what we do and what we look for, then we gonna try to get him. You know,
Yeah,
I can't speak specifically about certain recruits. But you know, if you look at the offers that we have out there, everybody ain't black.
Okay.
So you know,
mm,
you know, it's a great opportunity. I think college basketball is college basketball. You look around the league, you know, there's all kinds of, you know, different ethnicities and different backgrounds that's in the league. You know, you even look at, you know, a lot of the sports that are, you know, like your baseballs and your soccers and your tennises and your golf and your volleyballs and stuff like that. You look at those rosters at every HBCU, and you ain't gonna see a whole bunch of people that look like us completely filling out those rosters. Um, and so, I mean, you know, we are. It's funny in this day and age of DEI and all this stuff, kind of talking down about it and everything. We are the most diverse and culturally inclusive type of collegiate environment that you could find. And so, you know, and I say that for most, if not all, HBCUs. So there aren't people that we turn away. So it's a great opportunity, regardless of your ethnicity or background. If you could play and you fit how we play, we gonna try to get you. So you know, that doesn't bother me at all.
okay, okay. I got a question, two part a little bit. So what's the facilities like, you know, at a HBCU, specifically at Grambling? And what's the NIL situation like for HBCU, if you don't, you know, mind answering that?
You know, NIL is different. Excuse me, NIL is different for a lot of leagues across every landscape, high major and low major. Um, you
Okay.
know, I can't speak to us specifically, obviously, but what I can say generally is that every school has an opportunity to help their student athletes out with NIL. There isn't anybody who's just like, nah, we ain't got it.
Okay.
But you know, obviously there's haves and have nots. But I will say for us, uh, you know, we ain't worried about. It's not an issue. I put it that way.
Sweet.
Um,
Sweet.
in
Y'all
terms of
hear
our
that?
Yeah.
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 it
Yeah.
Tap
in terms
in.
of our facilities, you know, like we have. I mean, our gym. This is one of the biggest gyms that I've been a part of. I think it's I want to say it's 11,000 capacity. You know, we
Okay.
got a weight room, we got our locker room here, all at the facility. We got our study hall, we got our study table. You know, everything is, you know, we're not any different than any other program, regardless of the league or level. We have our own, just like everyone else. So you know, we may have to, you know, split time with volleyball and stuff like that, but that's normal across the board. Um, so we don't want for anything. We have a great partnership in terms of our branding with Adidas. I have more gear than I can even. I mean, I got bags and stuff right now.
I don't.
I saw that look.
Yeah.
I saw that look.
I mean,
Yeah. I let your
So
boy. Yeah.
you know, our guys, and we're a flagship Adidas program. So you know, anything that you see on Louisville or you know, Nebraska or whoever else is a flagship Adidas program, you're gonna see that on us too.
three
So you know,
stripes.
yeah, we have a great partnership, and you know they do a great job of taking care of us.
That's live.
All right, Coach. You had another question, also. I'm sorry,
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Coach. A couple things I want to address. You know, and I'm hoping you being my boy, you know that Houston connect, we could change a few things. Okay.
Hmm. I got you.
Um, when I look at this roster, man, there's only one Houston kid on the roster.
Hmm.
You know, shout out to that young man. The second thing I noticed, you only have two high school players on the roster, period. So I know you down there to help out that Houston, Dallas, that old Southern Golden Triangle Connect to get them guys more notice out there with Grambling State and their coaching staff. Um, but is it just the coaching staff, or y'all just shying away from the high school talent, or is just that's just how things been rolling lately?
No, I think for us, for our staff, it's a priority. Um, we've been in the state. We at the Gasso. I was just in Bryan this past weekend or last weekend. Our head coach has been out there a number of times, and he's made it a point. I've done everything I can to try to get him acclimated, introduced to as many of the tastemakers as I can in the state. But it is definitely a priority. Um, Texas is the most talent rich state in the country. So and we're right. They call Shreveport East Texas out here. I didn't know that there was they got some divides in the state. uh, so I say all that to say it's important for us. We have obviously we had to build a roster this year pretty quickly, um, but we're looking anywhere for between 3 and 4 high school kids next year. Uh, I say all that to say, like, if it's more than that, it's because they can play and it's because they fit what we do. Like we're not tied into any particular line of thinking. That's the great thing I like about Coach Crary. Like everybody has kind of their way and their system of doing things, but he's about as fluid as he can be depending on what the situation is. So it doesn't matter, we like length and size, right? Like we like long guards, we like versatility, um, you know. But if there's a 6 foot 6'1" guard that fits what we can do and that we like, then we're gonna try to get him, But Texas is definitely a priority for us. I think I'm well qualified for the job, obviously, but
Most
me being from Texas, me being a Texas guy, me having those relationships, you know, that's a pretty big reason why I'm here. So my job is to help navigate that and help him navigate that, and to make this Texas East if I possibly can. That's our goal.
Coach, same question for the Midwest region. Do y'all have any connects in the Midwest region? Do y'all need any help in that Midwest region? You know what I
Hey,
mean?
look, I
Talk to
see.
me,
I
Coach.
I I don't turn down good help at all, man.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny you asked that about the Midwest because uh I thought my trajectory was going to keep me in the Midwest, So like, being at Kansas State, and then so Coach Weber is a Midwest guy. Uh, Chris Lowry is a Midwest guy. He's from Indiana, has some great ties in St. Louis, and he helped me when I was in Missouri, trying to get Missouri kids and getting when I was in Arkansas, working on I mean, I just even AB3, he worked at Bradley. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
like we I always just kind of how I saw everything kind of going. I thought I was like, man, I'm gonna probably end up being in the Midwest. You know what I mean? And I got the opportunity to come back to Texas, but I feel like we all have a great. Everybody on the staff has a great network of people throughout the country. But I feel like just my experience, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and being able to recruit kids from Chicago, uh,
Yeah.
Virginia. I've been able to recruit kids all over the country. So the funny part about that is that being in the Midwest and recruiting kids from the Midwest, everybody has family in Texas. Everybody.
Right.
So
That's a
me
fact.
being able to be out there and being able to kind of find a connection, that Texas connection has been, it helps me no matter what. The kid that I recruited for Virginia his uncle stayed in Fort Bend. like it just helps. And I recruited him to a JUCO in Missouri. So, being from Texas helps everything.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Let's do this. So now you
But
got to connect.
hold on, but yeah, Los, yeah. To answer your question, yeah, yeah.
I got you.
No,
I got you, coach, for sure.
no, that's what I was about to say. I was about to say now you got that Louisville connect. If y'all didn't exchange numbers behind the scenes yesterday, let's make sure we make that happen today. Before you get up
Absolutely.
out of here, coach. All right.
Absolutely, man.
Now,
Yeah.
now, Coach, I got a personal question. I think it was Missouri West Plains. I could be wrong. I get all these
Hmm.
schools mixed up. But when you were out there, this is a personal question. You done a personal favor for me at the time, and I just kind of know. I want to know why and what did you think about that prospect? It was a kid, and I say his name Jesse. If anybody knows his last name, y'all can put that together. But at the time, he was having a situation where too many schools, for whatever reason, they really wouldn't rocking with him on the level he was looking for. And then his mind was going places. I made a call to you, and I mean instantly. I don't know if it was because of me, my bald head. You know what I'm saying, or just the kind of man you are, the Christian you are, that just made you want to help with that situation. But enlighten us on that. Why did you help? And what did you feel about that young man at the time?
So first of all, being bald,
Love you, baby.
having that connection is elite. So, Los, you
Right,
may not know
right,
nothing about that
right,
yet, man. But keep living.
right, right.
You might join the team.
Yeah, McDonald's
I
all
think
Americans don't have that problem.
I think so. My first introduction to him was we played against them. We played against y'all. I'm sorry. At I want to say at Pasadena. It was like one of the very first I think like summer events, like spring kind of leading into the summer.
Texas
Um,
Pro.
and he was killing, right? He was really good, and I just remember him being I think he went to Spring Branch, so I just remember he was putting up just crazy numbers. So that was my first opportunity to actually compete against him. So when you and I had spoken about him, um, I familiarity obviously is something that helps, but I'm not a hater. I don't think I am anyway. Um, like for me, if somebody has talent and they want to talent is it's about like what their desires are and how they work towards their talent. And everything that I'd always heard about him was that he was like he wants it, right? Like he wants to make basketball his profession and he works at it. Um, and so being able to get a good player. Every opportunity is not for everybody. I don't villainize kids who go to they transfer several times. Like sometimes it's just not for you, and sometimes you're not a good fit. Like it just that's just how it is. We all come from different backgrounds. We've all been to people's houses before that we've never been to before, and they may do things differently, right? And
Yeah.
you may not dislike them for it, but I'm probably not going back over there again. It just ain't for me.
I ain't spending
Um,
the night.
yeah, so
Right. Right.
that's kind of that's what a lot of this stuff is. A lot of this is the people business. It's the business of basketball, but it's definitely the people business. And so I never, he went to different schools and had different opportunities and different things didn't work out. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And everything that is going on with him. He just has to show that he wants to improve and to move forward. Obviously, everything within reason. And so I just told him, I was like, man, just like I told you, we ain't nothing out here, so you ain't got no choice but to get better. And your goal is to, when you get here, your goal is to leave. right? Your goal is to be able to
Right.
go somewhere where you'll be able to excel and do what you want to do. And he did that. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to. We ended up. My coach at the time ended up being let go, so I ended up having I interviewed for the job. I didn't get it, but the person that he ended up playing for, Coach Fay, was somebody who took care of him, and I had talked with him about that. He actually offered me a spot on the staff if I wanted to stay, but I had another opportunity at SEMO. Um, but it was just about really just helping. I'm from the house, so I gotta help him if I can. But every interaction that I had with him up to that point, he was a great kid, and so I just wanted to help him and see if I could help him and see if maybe I could be along for the ride and get a couple wins here and there,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
watch him. I put it this way, Coach. I coached a number of kids. I've had my hand in the development of a number of kids who, um, number of young men who've gone on to have great careers. Whether that's in basketball or whether that's in the medical field or whether that's teaching, um, all of these guys make more money than me. All these guys have
Mm.
more access to things but that's never why I was in it. That's not why I'm in it now. And so the opportunity to see people kind of grow after they've been through some stuff is what attracted me to him, and he's done that. That's for sure.
Yes, sir.
Shout out
Well, yeah,
Miho, man.
yes,
Shout
sir.
out, man. Shout out Miho, man. Yeah.
And he can
Appreciate
go,
that,
man.
coach.
He
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah.
go.
That
He was a
that
bucket.
opportunity helped him capitalize on the Division 1 opportunity with Warren Dixon over there at Coppin State.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
definitely, appreciate your assistance in that situation.
Not a problem. No
Coach,
problem. No thank you.
uh, let me ask you that while we talking about players. Who's the best player you ever coached against?
Best player I ever coached against. I tell you what, man. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of really good ones. I'm drawing it, but
Yeah.
but Buddy Hield, man. I watched Buddy before the game. So he had this thing where like he would shoot um, threes. Like none of his teammates would step on the floor until he missed his first three. So he's basically
Damn.
just going around the horn shooting threes. And
Yeah.
so our crowd, this before the game, our student section, they heckling him a little bit. So, he starts at 1, he's going around, 5, you know, 12, 13, 14. Around number 15, our crowd, instead of heckling, they started counting. 16, 17. I think he ended up getting to, I want to say it was like 36 or 37 or something like that.
Damn.
Um, Man, like he could really, he was good. I will say this though, Wes Iwundu, made things hard for him that night. He was able to get he was able to get his numbers, but it took a little bit more for him to get those numbers. Wes made it hard. Uh, I don't know if I the best player played against. I don't or coached against. I don't know if I can really answer that right now, but I can tell you some of the best guys that I have been a part of and coached. Barry Brown.
Okay.
Barry
Who's that?
Brown. So Barry was I think he was a 3-star player, 2 or 3 star out of Florida. He's from Florida. He's this past he was a Chinese League MVP. A bucket. Barry's one of the hardest working people I've ever been around. Uh, he was one of those guys, and this is again, being exposed to and seeing a different level of exposure. I'd be in the office and I'd hear the ball bouncing at 12, 12:30, 1 in the morning. He's in there shooting, and he's got his girl in there rebounding for him.
Hmm. Player,
Like,
I like
like
player, man.
he's one of the guys who wanted it. And obviously, being, this is at Kansas State, the carrot is like the NBA carrot is like right there, right? So, you know, he can see it. like he can taste it, like it's right there, it's close enough. And so he took advantage of everything that he could in order to get to that level. I think he had a little cup of coffee with the Timberwolves, I think, summer league and everything, but he's doing fine in China.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
definitely in China. Yeah, they throwing that money away out there. If you can hoop, if
Yeah,
you can hoop,
he's
they gonna
doing
pay you for sure.
he's doing really well out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's one of the guys that come to mind just in terms of the best guys that I've kind of had a hand in and just been around. Like he's unbelievable hard worker, just crazy.
Shout out to
Coach,
you.
answer this for me. Would you take a guy that's 6'6", very skillful, um, hasn't really putting it together yet, not that consistent, and might not play that hard? Or a guy that's 6'4", skill set isn't all the way there, plays hard as hell, consistent every night, and just stick to what he does great?
I this is how I'm going to answer this question, right? Um, there's not a college coach in the universe that is okay with a player who doesn't play hard. Like playing hard at this level that's like the bare minimum, right? Now your talent may be able to get you over in certain areas and stuff like that. So I get that, and there are guys who would take talent over hard work. A lot of those guys coach at the professional level, right? Like it's very difficult. Uh, I think one thing players have to and really kind of like parents as well have to understand about the college level is coaches want to see it in practice. At the collegiate level, they want you to see it in practice. At the professional level, you're playing more games than you are practicing, right? Where at the collegiate level, you play 31 games max in the regular season. Depending on the league, you may have 4 games in the conference tournament, which that makes it 35, and then I think it takes 6 games or 7 games to win a national title. So you're playing 42 games, 42, 43. You're practicing twice that that's at the least, right? Like you may have 100 some odd practices throughout the year and 40 something games if you're playing all the way through the first weekend in April. And so it's not like the professional level where you're playing more than you're practicing. And so coaches at our level, like they need to see it. They need to see it consistently day in and day out um, before they can trust it. Like trust is a huge thing when it comes to uh, I can trust that there's a kid who is a bad shot taker, but he's also a bad shot maker. I can trust that, right? Because at some point he's like it takes an element of being in the gym in order to be able to do that. And you've built that trust with coach. But if you're not known as that and then you come out and you take some bad shots and you hit a couple of them, the coaches don't believe it, right? So even though you've made a couple, they still don't believe it because they don't trust it. Trust is a huge thing. The easiest way or the easiest way to build trust is by competing and playing extremely hard. Competing at a high level, playing as hard as possible. And yeah, there's some outliers. You may have a kid who's 6'6". He's got NBA level talent. They see through. They get in there. It's I've coached a couple of guys where I wish he would play harder. But his production speaks for itself. Would you rather count on that? Would you rather count on somebody? Would you rather, if you have a car, would you rather it could be a Lamborghini? If it only starts 2 out of every 5 times, you can't count on that. But if I got a Ford Taurus that's going to get me from A to B 5 out of 5 times or 4 out of 5 times, I can trust that. Lamborghini, it might pull. You might be able to get some looks, right? But that third time it don't fire up. People asking where you at. And here goes somebody else pulling up in their Taurus, and they there all the time,
Right.
you can't beat that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's dope.
that's definitely how it works. Um,
I tell you this. This is I just thought about that analogy, but this is me in real life.
Yeah.
I had a Dodge Charger. I think it was a 2006. I had Rams. I had a system. It was paid off. I'm driving on the freeway. I'm on 59. I'm driving on the freeway. It just shuts off on me. Just completely shuts off. So I'm able to get it to pull to the side, and I'm trying to turn it back. I'm turning back, and I finally get it to turn on, and this putt putt is doing this to me the whole time, and I can't go any faster than 40 miles an hour. The next day, I took it to the dealership, traded it in. They gave me a little bit of money for it. I got a Volkswagen Passat. I've had that car since then. That Passat I ain't had no problems with it.
you ain't put no rims on it or nothing, did you?
Nope,
Yeah.
straight shot. No
Yeah.
tint. No good. I got about 175, 180,000 miles on it. But it's reliable. I got some brake work done a few weeks ago. That's the biggest problem I've had with that car. So I say all that to say consistency is really important, and being able
That's
to
what I'm
be
about to say. You
reliable
dropping
is
some
really
gems,
important.
coach. You dropping gems, coach. These kids, I hope these kids tap into what you're saying, man, and really understand the value and the lesson that you teaching, man. That's great stuff right there for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Now I ain't gonna be mad if I'm able to get that charger back. I wouldn't be mad, but it's gonna have to be brand new, fixed up, uh, maintenance taken care of, warranty, all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's important to be consistent.
Yeah.
So, what are two things that you identify out of player ASAP? Two things that if you in the gym, like you going to just watch talent, but what's two things that can help a prospect identify your eyes when watching a game?
How hard they compete, um, like just constantly being there, like just being able to compete at a high level on the defensive end, obviously, but being tough on the offensive end as well. How they communicate. Um, I'm not big on can't speak ball man. Hey, I'm not like that's not me. Like, hey, I'm here on your left. Hey, bring him this way. Hey, go over there. I'm here. I'm low. Like active communication, actively talking, like in a real sense to help your teammates. Um, and then probably the other thing. I mean, I know you said two, but you know, it's really three for me. You have to be a smart player, right? Like your IQ, it stands out. You can tell who is kind of like out there just kind of playing, and then you can tell who's out there processing. Uh,
Right.
and
Oh, I like that.
that's really really important because it'll show you guys who know what to do with what they have, right? If you are if you're really fast and really athletic, we were talking about this yesterday. If you're really fast and really athletic, you need to be that, but you also need to know how to be that. So being fast, going 100 miles an hour, um, Barry Bonds talks about it a lot when he talks about hitting. Um, if you're a straight fastball guy and all you're throwing is fastballs, I can time it, right? Like I can time it. I don't even have to look. I just need to see the ball leave your hand, and I can just time the pitch, right? But if you're like a Tom Glavine, you got a 90 mile per hour fastball, then you got a 78 mile per hour changeup, and then you kind of vary where the ball's gonna go over the plate. Well, then that keeps the batter off balance. If I'm a really really fast, really athletic basketball player, I, I don't want to be fast all the time. I want to be able to be slow to fast, fast to slow.
Mhm.
Uh, and then your athleticism, you use that all the time. you use that to go get rebounds. You use that to play above the rim. You use that to get deflections. You use that to just be disruptive, right? But knowing how to be who you are when and realizing who you are, that's important. Like once you can kind of process that, that stands out. That you can watch a guy and be like, man, he don't really look like he's moving all that fast, right? I remember going to my first NBA game, and like you watch it on TV, like, man, them dudes ain't playing hard. Them dudes know how to move. They know how to exert the energy when it's supposed to be. Like they just know, and they know how to use their length, and they know how to use their body, and they know when to kind of exert different levels of energy. And so when you're watching it on the floor, and then my first opportunity to actually play with some NBA level guys, and these dudes are moving the same way, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. It's just different, you know.
Yeah.
So how you move is important, but you don't know how to move unless you have a real good sense of yourself and your game. So those are the three things that I definitely look for. You know, aside from the obvious stuff, you know, can you shoot, can you pass, you know, can you do these other things that obviously, you know, they're going to count no matter what.
Coach, on your level, on the HBCU level, in your point guard, what's a few of the intangibles you look for? What's some of the most important things? Uh, Pure point guards, scoring point guards. How you feel about that? Dogs, you know, how you feel about that
Uh,
stuff?
you know, kind of going back to the previous point, you know, communication and command. Um, you know, uh, as a point guard, you're the point of attack. Obviously, you're the first line in a lot of things. Um, I think being able to communicate with your teammates and being able to bring them along with you, and you know, obviously, it's communication is so important. You know, there's so many different parallels between how you communicate on the floor and how you communicate with just anybody in your life. Um, you know, I'm really big. I've been married for 7 years now, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at it at all. You know, like I'm a work in progress. But I always go back to my relationship. If I don't communicate with my wife, then you know that's the most important relationship I have. So
Right.
if there's not a high level of communication there, then how can I expect, you know, somebody to communicate in the second most, you know, important aspect of what I do, which is, you know, aside from being a parent and being a husband, my job. And so effective communication is important from your point guard. Obviously, being able there's different types. Obviously, you got, you know, scores. You got guys who set the table. Um, I know for us, uh, you know, we want guys. We have guys here and guys that we have effectively communicated or recruited who are they know themselves, right? Like you can't really knock them off their pivot. Like they're steady, they're reliable. We could count on them to be exactly who they are all the time. Uh,
Mm.
you can't have uh, you can have emotion. You can't be emotional as a point guard. You can't be somebody that we have to guess what your mood is from day to day.
Hey man, say man, hey man.
Talk that
Come
talk,
Like
on,
coach.
man.
Talk that talk,
Yeah.
coach. Yeah.
it's difficult to be able to gauge or to it just makes things difficult when you're the guy who's on the ball and the guy who's really kind of leading you on the floor, who's an extension of the head coach, when they're not on the same page, and it's because of other things that are going on. It's a tough thing, right? When I come home and we've lost a tough game or we've had a tough practice, my daughter don't care nothing about that, right? She want to play. She want to, you know, do a TikTok video. Like she want to get to it, right? It has nothing to do with anything that's going on in any other part of my life. And so I say all that to say, you know, as for young people, it's hard sometimes because they're dealing with these new emotions these new situations that they haven't maybe encountered before, and we still need them to show up and be solid and steady. And so, as a point guard, if you can be that every single day, as solid and as steady and as consistent as you can possibly be every day. If we don't have to guess what your mood is going to be, if we don't have to guess, notice I'm not even talking about basketball. I'm just talking about like your temperament. Um, if you can be that every day, then you're reliable. We can count on you, and we know what to expect on the floor. Uh, because the game changes, as you guys know, the game changes every trip up the floor. It's not the same. Every possession is its own story. Uh, but consistency matters, and being able, like, if you're consistent and you're a high level communicator, you're gonna be a dog. You're gonna be a dog. Like, you don't have to. Anything, if there's anything about a dog, a dog is a dog no matter what. Like, there's not anybody that we've come across as a player who's like, man, he's a dog today, but I don't know what happened to her. Like, no, he is that all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
And the people that line up across from them, they know that, and they expect, and they're preparing themselves mentally for that battle. And so, we look for that. We look for consistent. We look for guys who can be coached and who can take it and can move on from it and learn from it. And that's not just our point guards. That's everybody. Like, we're gonna be demanding without being demeaning. We're gonna be hard without being harsh. Like, we're gonna coach you up, but we're also gonna celebrate you, and we're gonna make this thing fun. But it can't be any fun. I know there are a lot of guys who have experiences, and they talk about, they didn't have fun and their coach took the fun, and I get that. I understand that there are situations that are like that. But there's also situations where you just have to kind of control what you can control. And a lot of that has to do with your temperament and your emotions and your ability to be consistently who you're supposed to be every single day. So if you're supposed to be a dog, you need to be that every day. If you're supposed to
Yep.
be a shooter, you need to be a shooter every day. If you're a shooter and you kind of be talking about, man, I can't get in the rhythm, I ain't trying to hear that. I expect you to hit shots, right?
Yeah,
I expect,
yeah.
because that's the reputation that you've
That's your
established for
job.
yourself. And so I'm just here, man. Keep shooting it. If you're a shooter and you missing shots, I'm gonna tell you keep shooting it, because I have the confidence in you. I know that about you. But if you come to me talk about, oh, coach, man, I can't hit shots. Well, that's your job. That's what you say. That's what you do. I've seen you do it. So just keep shooting it. Don't come to me counting. Oh, I missed my last 3 out of 4. I ain't trying to hear that. Make the
Right.
next 1 out of 1, and
Yes,
and
I
sir.
know.
then and build yourself, and we'll help build you. So consistency is key.
Yes, sir.
Got to make sure you get a real shooter, man. They got some,
Ooh.
you know, a lot of people title a basketball player a shooter just because they shoot shots, but shooters really make shots. So, they got some shooters out there that can't shoot a water gun at a pool party, but they considered a shooter.
Right.
Like, it's not wet and wild fun. They can't join the party. But coach, from AU director slash coach, um, I'm gonna give you the visual that a lot of kids and parents have about recruitment and having a good game, a good tournament. But I want you to follow back with the reality, and every situation is different. So give us about an average of the recruiting process to answer this question for me. So a kid have a good weekend in the live period, right? Kid not really known. No coaches talk to this kid or communicated with him as far as before the live period, like they're on the radar. Like, they haven't been communicating, hey man, I'm gonna come watch you. The next step of the process of the recruitment. No, you just happen to come, you at a game, you see a kid, you like him. Kid identifies the coach is there. Talk to his AAU coach. Hey, coach, man, I had a good game. You talk to a dude. They go, are they gonna offer me? And like, we know realistically, like, that's not how it works. Even maybe some of the parents, hey, I saw the coach over there. My kid had a good game. For one, your son wasn't even known. You know what I'm saying? So just on the time frame, if you do watch a prospect and you identify him in a live period, on average, just kind of give us a simple, and don't got to be long, it don't got to be very detailed, but just about a blueprint that's not going to happen next week, the next day. Just kind of give us like the typical process for a situation like that.
You know, there may be there's a lot of kids that I like um, that don't fit what our head coach is looking for, right? Like the first thing that I'm looking for, like if I like a kid and I can make a note. I can even communicate with them and tell them how much I like their game and all of that stuff, right? And you know, I can definitely communicate with you, but if I'm recruiting for my boss, right? I'm recruiting to the things that he likes. Now there may be some outliers as, hey coach, look man, I know he doesn't fit, you know, ABC thing that you like, but this dude is a difference maker, right? Like that that does exist, but I'm recruiting for my boss. I'm recruiting for like I've bought into his vision. That's why I'm here. So I need to do everything I can to enhance his vision and to propel his vision for the program because I believe in it. And so, you know, if there's a kid who's a good player, but maybe he doesn't fit the measurables that we need. Maybe he wants all his bigs to have a 7'2" wingspan. Or maybe he wants a mobile big. Maybe he wants a 6'7", 6'8", kind of undersized five who can step out because we're running five out, right? If it doesn't make sense for me to recruit a 7-footer who's a back to the basket guy, or a 6'10" back to the basket guy, or even a 6'8" back to the basket guy. It doesn't make sense for me to make him a priority. It does make sense for me to say, hey coach, here's this kid that I think he doesn't necessarily fit what we do, but I think this is something that he could excel in this area for us, right?
Right.
You know, having a good game. My main thing for a lot of kids is, you know, I want to see it again, right? Like I want to see it again. So I may have been at one game and I saw and little Timmy had, you know, 15 and, you know, 5 assists. I'm like, man, make a note. Circle back. I'm circle back, see what time they play a little bit later on. I'll come back and watch them again, right? Like evaluation is important. Like our main job as assistant coaches is obviously to make sure that our head coach is elevated, but it's also to evaluate. Like evaluation is important because we're going to miss out on more kids than we hit on, right? Whether that is by a missed evaluation, whether that's from the kid wanting to go to a different university or a different situation. Like we're like baseball players, right? Like a Hall of Fame baseball player can hit, you know, 350, 300, right? That means that he's been out 6.5 times out of 10. He's still a Hall of Famer, right? He's missed more than he's hit. So like we're going to do that just naturally because there's more kids than there are coaches. There's more kids than there are programs. So our main thing is to try to figure out how can we evaluate talent and how can we make sure that they fit what we do. So, you know, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You know, an offer can be made. I seen this kid one game. I seen everything that I need to see. But if I seen everything that I need to see and I offer them, it's because they fit a bulk of what we're already looking for, and they excel in that, right? If there's a kid who doesn't fit a bulk of those things that we're looking for, but he's a player, I'm gonna need to see him a couple of different times, and then my boss is probably gonna need to see him a couple of different times, right? Because I gotta make sure that he sees and that he's comfortable. Every head coach in the country will tell you at the end of the day, it's my decision. So my assistant may have brought him to me, but at the end of the day, I hired the assistant, and I made the decision to sign the player. So he's going to want to see whatever it is that I'm seeing. I need to make sure he sees it. If he doesn't see it, then you know, you could have 25. You can average 30 all summer long. It still ain't gonna matter. It has to really fit what the program is about. Offers offer good games, and offers are great. Offers are great, but I used to tell parents all the time when I was coaching high school AAU ball, all it takes is one. All it takes is one guy to like you. All it takes is one guy to like you, and or one school to like you, and then from there, if you focus on collecting offers, if you focus on my first, my second, my third, my fourth offer, my fifth offer, you know, it, it can be you're gonna be disappointed, right? You're gonna be disappointed if you just in it to collect offers. You're gonna be disappointed. If I'm at your game and I'm at Grambling State University, I'm here. I got all my gear on, and I'm at your game, and you have a good game, and you're wondering why I offered or why I didn't offer, and you would never come to Grambling, then why does it matter? Like it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You just want the offer just to say you got the offer, or do you
Right.
want the offer because you want to come here?
Yeah.
If that's your mentality, then it's gonna be you're gonna have a difficult recruitment if you're a recruitable player.
Hard to
Coach,
pick
let
the
me
right
ask y'all
school.
something stuck out real quick. My bad. B, you got something?
No, go ahead, brother.
Uh, you said in y'all program, this y'all program specifically, y'all don't want 6'8", 6'10" back to the basket bigs. What kind of bigs do y'all prefer? What?
Well,
What
no,
kind
no,
of
I
bigs
was
do
just
y'all
speaking
prefer in your
generally.
program?
Like
Yeah.
we would like guys who could shoot, but we have a man. I without saying a whole lot, man. I really like this group. Um, we have we have a just a we're really versatile at all of our spots. So like even our five man, we got guys who are back to the basket. We got guys who can shoot it. We got guys who could do a little bit of both. We got guys who are above the rim guys. We got guys who are below the rim, but they know how to score and use it by like you know we gotta we really are about versatility, right? Like our program, like our guys are really about versatility. So yeah, if we, I mean, shoot, we'll take a 7 foot back to the basket. If that's what he does well, we're gonna find a way to make it work.
Right.
Just
Right.
like we'll find a
Okay.
way to make anything else work. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're not. Uh, yeah, we're not tied to any. We're not married to any one particular uh, type of player. I think the only thing that is um, as close to being like an absolute is really just kind of length. But even still, we have a couple of guys who aren't very long, but they dogs.
But they
They're
And,
dogs.
and
dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to clear that up, Los, I think Coach was just giving an example. If he working for a coach, he might see a kid that's 7 foot, but that coach, if his style is smaller, then he can't really heavily recruit that kid because that's not the head coach's style. But I don't think
Yeah.
he was talking about Grambling State in particular.
And it's
Gotcha.
like I
My
said,
bad,
if
brother.
there's, I mean,
Yeah.
no, you good, coach. There have been guys who we bring to the table, and there's guys that coach. Like matter of fact, we were talking about a kid the other day in the group chat. He's like, man, look, he ain't this, he ain't what I normally look for, but I love him, and he's sending
Right.
us that. It's like, now I may send the same thing to a coach. He ain't normally what I look for, but I love him. He might, hey man, get off my phone. Like it may be, you know
Yeah. Yeah.
that may be what it
Yeah.
is, but
Yes.
my job is to present it to him, and if he wants
Yeah.
to rock with it, great. If he don't, great. I'm gonna find the next thing for him.
Absolutely.
Coach, well, you have a recruit that you bring the coach or anyone on y'all staff bring, it can even be the head coach. Well, now it's decision night. You guys deciding, hey, we're going to go out, watch them play this night. It's a good game. We pretty much go offer them after the game. Y'all left the game. Kid is doing great. Give me one thing with the head coach there. The whole staff is on board, ready to offer this kid. Give me one thing that kid could do for you guys to take that offer. Well, don't offer him before that game's over, and also piggyback and give me one thing that parent can do during that game to make you guys want to take that offer back or not even extend that offer to that prospect?
It's I haven't really. I've only been in that situation one time. I've only had that happen one time, um, and it was because the kid was just not. Uh, he was a little immature, not in a way of like not in a way of like immaturity in terms of like how he treated people or anything like that. We had we had two starters. We had an all league guy ahead of him, and so he's like, "Well, I'm coming in to start." Like, relax. You know, you're a really good
Right.
player, but this dude's been at the college level for uh for 1-2 years. Like he's like, well, I'm not better than him. It's like it's not even about that. Like this kid, like the answer is no, but B, you could be. You're just not that right now. And the way that we're looking at it, it's probably not going to be that way in 4 months either. Um, So we encouraged him to, or coach kind of encouraged him. This is not here. This is at a different place, but coach kind of encouraged him to go back and kind of rethink some things. He ended up, and he's a pro now. You know what I'm saying? But I think for young people, um, disrespect is a disrespect and being a bad teammate, like being like clearly a bad teammate, talking to your teammates crazy, talking to your coach crazy, talking to your parents crazy. Like, it's one thing to be competitive, right? Like, I saw a clip of a kid not too long ago, where he told somebody's mom in the stands, like, sit your A down and, shut up. And I was like,
I seen that. Yeah.
it's not necessary. It's not necessary, right? Like it's not something that at some point we're going to have to try to police that with us. That's not necessarily what we're looking for, right?
Right.
I think there are kids who, like, sometimes emotions and things can kind of, you can make a mistake and stuff like that. A lot of it's hard to make that decision at that point without taking everything into context. And then we probably, if we have an idea that this kid is going to create an issue that we may not, that's going to maybe make us get off of him, we're probably not going to be recruiting him anyway. We're probably not going to be in the gym anyway. um, that's a difficult situation. I think now some things that can kind of turn you off is, obviously, you hear mom and dad going crazy in the stands. You hear them killing the official. you know I used to be like I used to be really bad with officials. Then you realize that, like, you know some of these dudes are in the same, I'm teaching, some of these dudes are in the same classroom I'm in. Some of these dudes have, this is not full time. This is not what they do full time. This is
Right.
not,
Right.
these dudes, they're principals, they're English teachers, they are junior high coaches, and they're so, I really believe a lot of these officials are doing the absolute best that they can. You know what I mean? So, that did, the bad officiating didn't make, Timmy dribble the ball off his knee or throw the ball into the third row.
Mhm.
So I just don't see I think any level of disrespect or any level of just kind of like something that we think we're going to have to police, um, in terms of like attitude or not being somebody that represents the program well. That's a red flag. That's something that we would have to have. We probably wouldn't walk away from that and be like, yeah, we're not gonna offer the kid. But we would do more. We would have do everything that we can to really, really build the relationship so that they understand, like, these are behaviors that don't fit us. And if that's something, if it's a continued behavior, then you know And man, there's a lot of kids out here that play basketball. It's a lot of parents. It's a lot of people that who are appreciative of what it means to put on a Grambling State uniform.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Coach, man, I know it's been a long morning. I'll leave you with this. Just give us one social buffer of one person in the business that kind of help mold you or motivate you to be the coach you are today.
Oh man, it's a lot of guys, man. I will say I probably won't be able to name just one. So Mikael McLean. Um,
My boy.
Mikael is my dog, man. And I don't. We joke a lot, and we say a lot of crazy things to each other. But he is somebody who, especially as a younger cat, somebody that I watched and competed against as a high school coach when he was playing high school ball. Um, to see his trajectory and to see to know firsthand how hard he works at everything. Um, I couldn't be more proud. Like he's a motivator for me. Like I feel like if I'm not trying to emulate um, a lot of the things that he does, then I'm not serious about the job. Mikkel is Mikkel is elite, man. He is elite. He's I obviously I haven't been around every coach in the country, every young coach in the country, but he is the best young coach in the country, hands down. It's not even close. Um, what Penn said in a fight come with that. I stand on
That's
that.
right, coach.
I
That's
stand
right.
on that. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
yeah.
then I've just had a number of people. AB3. I call him every other month or so. I just say, hey, man, thank you for giving me an opportunity. Without him, I'm not. I'm a Division II walk on, right? Like when I got back to Houston, um, I was fortunate to get to Bel Air and be an assistant there. Like when I got to Bel Air, I got hired at Bel Air because I got hired in the middle of the year. The They had an English teacher who was retiring. He was an older black gentleman. Well, he was retiring. Part of what made me marketable for that job is that I was a younger black dude, and they needed that in the English department. I had an English degree. I had no teaching experience. So, like, there are a lot of people who talk about, uh, man, I got it out the mud, like but you can't do it by yourself. And
Right.
there are a number of people who helped me um, in my journey. Helen Johnson. Helen Johnson was so when I was at Cal State, when I was walking on, I was playing. I had a full time job, so there'd be days that like I would miss class to go to work. Like I was kind of mapping it out, like every so often to do that. And Helen, I worked in one of the offices that I worked in. Helen said, "Hey, I got something for you," and she gave me an envelope, and then she left for work that day. And there was a check in there for like $300, and she had to know that I see how hard you're working. I know you could use the help. I'm going to do this for you every month.
Damn.
That's my books. That's meals. That's a cell phone bill. That's car insurance that I didn't have to worry about for my last year and a half of college. Right. Um, like the people who have helped me and the people that like there are times, especially with the job, that it can be, it could be frustrating. It could be overwhelming. But people like Helen and Mikhail and AB3 and Coach Brooks and Brad Korn and Coach Weber and Coach Crary, those like I can't stop because of the amount of TJ. They put so much into me. It would be blasphemous if I were to stop. So
Yes, sir.
there are a lot of people. There's more than that. But
Right.
yeah,
Now
they
we glad you able to leave us with those few. Shout out to Miss Helen, man. When you say buying those school books and things you need to succeed, I still remember. my brother and his wife paid cut me a check for mine when I went to get back into school to finally get my degree. Man, it was at least $500. I remember that to this day. I'm still
Yeah.
grateful to them for that.
My cousin
And
Kevin
my
Simmons,
boy,
that's my dog. Same thing, man. I'm sorry, man, but it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
sweet man, that's what it's all about. Shouting those guys out, those ladies out, those individuals to help us to be the people we are, so we can continue to help other people grow and blossom into the great individuals they could be. Coach, thanks for taking out day two with us,
I appreciate it,
man, over here
man.
on the podcast. We definitely appreciate you, your time, and all the great advice you gave us. Hopefully, this can help some answer some questions out there to those kids, family members, man. Lowe's, you have anything you want to leave Coach with?
Nah, Coach, just gratitude, man, and thank you for being on today with us, man. Absolutely. But if you can, don't forget about some of that gear you got laying around, man, that you just got bags full of, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Go on,
man,
send
I
Opinions
don't know what you're talking
Podcast a
about, but
few things,
let's
man.
talk when we in this thing, man.
BTS, man, BTS. Hey, but another shout out, man. Shout out to Marcus Sloan too, man. Sloan does great things in the city, as well as some other guys. But I know you and Sloan have a great relationship, brotherhood, man. It's always good to
Yeah,
see black men bonding and showing love to each other, being fathers to their family, husband to their wives, things of that nature, man. So salute to you guys. Is not gone unseen. The brotherhood, the type of role models you guys are in the community, man. So
Absolutely.
big shout out to y'all for that, brother.
appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, dog. That's my dog. That's my brother for sure.
Yes, sir.
Shout out,
Other than
BC.
that, man, we out. I'm Bobby B with the opinions you want to hear. Los, check us out, brother.
Man, this is in my humble opinion, man. Another one, man. We'll holler at y'all on the next one.